Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Rita's Book Club. On this episode, I'm telling you all about Epi Place by Emily Henry. I've been a big fan of Emily's books, and even though this book came out last year, I was waiting to get it and read it. This book promised to be more than a romance, and it proved me right with every single chapter. Harriet and Wayne have been the perfect couple since they met in college. They go together like salt and pepper, honey and tea, lobster and rolls. Except now, for reasons they are still not discussing, they don't. They broke up 6 months ago and still haven't told their best friends. Which is how they find themselves sharing the largest bedroom at the main cottage that has been their friends' group's yearly getaway for the last decade. Their annual respite from the world, where for one vibrant blue week they leave behind their daily lives, have copious amounts of cheese, wine and seafood, and soak up the salty coastal air with the people who understand them most. Only this year, Harriet and Wynne are lying through their teeth while trying not to notice how desperately they still want each other. Because the cottage is for sale and this is the last week they will have together in this place. They can't stand to break their friends' hearts, and so they will play their parts. Harriet will be the driven surgical resident who never starts a fight, and Wynne will be the laid-back charmer who never lets the cracks show. It's a flawless plan. If you look at it from a great distance and through a pair of sunscreen smeared sunglasses. And after a few years of being in love, how hard can it be to fake it for 1 week in front of those who know you best? Overall, in my opinion, this book was an inspirational story about self-growth, friendship, growing up, changing, grief, and even mental illness. It broke me and put me back together by the end, something that Emily Henry has been able to do with her books. First and foremost, I really liked how the story was alternated between past and present, between the happy places in the past and the real life moments of the present. I felt like the story is mainly an ode to how this friend group met and how they became each other's happy place. Of course, it's narrated from Harriet's perspective, so we see her thoughts about her friends, but also the development between her relationship with Wayne. Also, it was incredible the whole parallel that her friends and the cottage in Maine were her real happy place. It was all about the people and the relationships life gives you along the way. Diving in Harriet and Wynn's relationship, I got to admit that I do love a good second chance story, and this one was so complete. Besides getting the whole story of how they met and built a relationship in the past scenes, I loved how they start the story as a bit of enemies, or at least a bit angry with each other, then to later on realizing that they are still everything to each other. They just took a little detour in order to get to set their lives in the right path once again. We feel these two pining for each other and feel the pain they are feeling. The chemistry between them is incredible. All I'm saying is that they could have communicated a little better in the past in order to save themselves heartbreak, but I think that's important in the story to show their vulnerability and how they belong together. Harriet had a tendency to push everyone away, and Wynne had a tendency to worry and overthink things, which then leads them to clash, of course, after a few years together. Harriet always put other people's needs and feelings before her own in order to keep the peace, and she can't show her emotions to others. Her character is a bit frustrating, but I also think that she's very lovable, and by the end of the story, we understand why she is like this and how her family dynamics is kind of messed of how her family dynamics kind of messed her up. Wayne, on the other hand, is very self-conscious and never truly believes in himself and his own potential. I loved how his love language was physical touch and how he always felt the need to be touching Harriet. But what truly sold me on him was his ability to be brave and try to get better. He felt like he wasn't okay psychologically, and I think his mental health issues were treated with a lot of love and care by Emily. Finally, and I think that this was a big win for me, I absolutely loved how the friendships between the group were the real love story. It shows us that sometimes as adults, friendships change and it becomes difficult to maintain a steady contact, but at the end of the day, and no matter what, these people will always be there for you and stay with you forever. As always, if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram at Rita's Book Club for more content. Thanks for watching and see you next week. Happy readings.